Welcome back to the Buff Bistro. So, I'm a native Texas girl and I love me some good Texas style brisket. So I've channeled in my inner Texan with my Willie Nelson playing on the radio, and I'm going to teach you my classic rub to a brisket. So I'm going to teach you how to cook it tomorrow, but right now we're just going to work on the rub because that's the most important part. You want to get those flavors all over that rub, and we're going to wrap it up. We're going to let it sit in the fridge until tomorrow. Then we're going to get it put on the heat. So this recipe came from my mom. I've tweaked it some. I've added a little bit more cayenne pepper, some mustard. I did a few extra things to it that makes it for me. Do the same thing for you. Now this is a whole horde of spices that I'm going to use tonight, but these are your main spices that you're going to want to have in your kitchen all the time. The other day I ran out of chili powder and my husband was like, "Who are you and how are you out of chili powder?" And I have no idea. So of course I went and bought a huge container of chili powder and now I'm good to go. So I'll go over what these are later on, but I'm going to just give you the basics for a classic brisket rub. Adjust where you see fit. That's the whole point with all these recipes. If you don't like salty, bring the salt down. If you like it peppery, bring the pepper up. With anything I make, you can make it suit what you like to eat, and that's the most important part. If you don't adjust and change and tweak all of these recipes, you're not going to like them. But if you like the general idea, then you can come up with something that you're going to want to eat. So here we go. The base for my brisket rub is going to be paprika and salt. I've got equal parts. This is about 5 tablespoons each. I'm terrible at measuring, but I'm trying to be really good about measuring now. So I've got about 5 tablespoons of paprika and 5 tablespoons of salt. I just have regular grain salt. It's not real coarse. At the end, I'm going to coarse some salt right over top to give it a nice crispy layer of salt on the outside, salt and pepper, but we'll see how we do that in just a little bit. Next, I have equal parts, about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons probably actually, chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, and black pepper. That's fine ground black pepper because I don't want it to stand out too much in my mix. So we're just going to sprinkle that in there. Have you ever been to a wedding whenever they do the sand thing? It's kind of what I think this looks like when I build it like that. It looks like the sand, and well, we're marrying some of these perfect spices. And I love that I can smell the onion and the garlic. I'm going to add a little bit of brown sugar. Now I'm watching my carbs, so I don't want much brown sugar in anything I'm doing, or sugar really in anything. But if you like a sweeter barbecue, go ahead and add some more brown sugar. This is only a tablespoon. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in there. Normally prior to this I would have done maybe a 1/4 cup just to get a little extra sweetness in there, but I'm going to go for a little more dry, a little savory taste this round. Now here comes the spicy part. So I've got ground mustard and cayenne in here. I've got about a tablespoon of each. Now, that's quite a bit of spice for some people. It may not be enough for others. Adjust where you see fit. If you're Southern and you like hot wings and you like spicy things, go ahead and try a tablespoon. And then when you're doing it, you can taste it and see, does it taste right? Is it too spicy? Ooh, way too much pepper. Those kinds of things. Adjust as you see fit. So I'm doing my tablespoon of cayenne and my tablespoon of mustard. And then I've got a tablespoon of celery seed, which is one of my favorite things to add, and a tablespoon of cumin, and a tablespoon of parsley. And so that's just going to make a beautiful color here. And then you're just going to take your little whisk. I have had this whisk since I was in college, just in case anyone knows. I think my mom gave this to me in my stocking when I was a senior in high school, and I have kept him ever since. Cute little whisk. And then just take a look at it. You're going to stir and you're going to mix. See all those pretty colors? You just want, when you think about what a brisket looks like, you know it's going to look kind of red and dark and savory. And so you just want your rub to kind of mimic what that brisket is going to look like after you have it all patted down with the sauce. So there you go. I add celery seed to mine. That's going to make it bring out a little bit of that barbecue sauce flavor, which is one of the things I love. Amazingly enough, a lot of barbecue sauces have celery seeds. You may not think about it, which when you think about it after you eat it, it's like, oh, sure enough, I can taste the celery. So get it nice and mixed, because you don't want big clumps of anything anywhere, like this little brown sugar clump I got going. And then comes the fun and messy part. So I'm going to take this brisket right here. And when I cook it, I'm going to cook it with the fat on top for a while and let that fat drip down into it. And then I will flip it and cook the fat on the bottom. So I'm not gonna worry about trimming the fat off just yet, especially since I'm more worried about carbs than I am about fat. If you're trying to cut your fat level, go ahead and trim off as much of that fat as you possibly can, and then bake it. But if you lose that fat, all of that fat, you're gonna end up, it's gonna be kind of tough. And nobody wants tough brisket. Everybody wants soft, super tears apart in your hand or on your fork brisket. In the car, we eat it with our hand. The fun part is tomorrow when we bake it, yes, I'm gonna bake it because it's 12 degrees outside and I'm not going outside to barbecue. When we bake it, I'm also gonna show you how to make an awesome barbecue sauce. So we're just gonna sprinkle this over top and then rub it in. When you wanna rub it in, you gotta massage it. You know from the movie Ghost when he reaches around and they're like making their pottery, it's just like that, but less sexual, I hope, because that would be kind of weird. So yeah, just get it in there, get it on the edges, get it on the front, get it on the back. You want it all over it. You want it in the fat because once that fat melts in that heat, it's going to drip down into the creases of the meat, and you want all those flavors to dig right inside that meat. And then you're just going to take it and you're going to flip it. And you're going to cover it up. There you go. Let's turn up Willie so you can listen to us mix it here. Got my Willie on. My inner Texan, I think my Texas family would be proud of me for doing brisket on here. So yeah, just think about the things that you like. Think about the things, have you tried a recipe and you're like, God, it was terrible, or man, it was too salty. Just cut the salt. You just gotta think about things sometimes. It doesn't hurt too much. So, I got this booger nice and covered. Make sure you cover it in all these creases. Get your stuff down in there. I'm gonna go up here on this side. And it's called a rub for a reason. You rub it in there. So there we have it. Now, that is one good looking slab of meat. I'm gonna bake that tomorrow, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover it with some foil, and I'm going to put it into the refrigerator and just let it sit. I'm just gonna sit in those sauces, or in those spices, and tomorrow when it bakes, those ooze right down into it. Be right back. Cover this with foil. I'm just going to slip it right into the refrigerator. And it'll go in the oven tomorrow. And we'll go over that tomorrow when I put it in. Thanks for visiting. Be sure to subscribe if you'd like more recipe tips and more hints. If you have any questions, if you have any recipes you'd like to know, or you want to ask me a question about your certain dietary needs. I did a vegan diet for a long time, and so I have got some great vegan recipes. I've got awesome paleo recipes. Maybe I'll do one of those in the next few days if I get a chance. And just let me know if you have a question. If you have a good enough question, I'll make a video. Otherwise, I'll answer in the comments. So be sure to subscribe. Find me on Facebook, Elizabeth Halliburton Grave, thinks what I am. Or on Instagram, you can have little snippets and see what I've got going on every day. I'm Elizabeth A. Grave. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
I think our speakers are blown.